Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about acid. Now in your class 10 syllabus you have acid, basis and salt in chemistry. Now in today's class we will discuss about acid. Now before we get into what is acid, different types of acid and the basicity and strength of an acid, first I want to ask you one question, that lemon. Now what is the taste of lemon is what? Lemon, vinegar. If we taste lemon and vinegar, what is the taste? The taste is obviously is sour, right? Why sour? Because lemon, then vinegar all contains acid, isn't it? So the taste of the acid, if I ask what is the taste of the acid, the taste is sour taste. Okay? So you have come to know that the taste of the acid is sour. Now next is, in chemistry, how will you define an acid? If I ask the question that what do you mean by acid, or how will you define a compound as an acid, how will you define? Now in chemistry, an acid is a compound which when dissolved in water yields hydronium ion. Now hydronium ion means H3O plus. Now H3O plus is called hydronium ion. Okay. So acid is a compound which when dissolved in water yields hydronium ion as the only positively charged ion. Okay. So a compound which when dissolved in water yields or it furnishes H3O plus or hydronium ion as the only positively charged ion, that compound will be defined as an acid. Okay, so we have got the definition of an acid. What is acid? An acid is a compound which when dissolved in water yields hydronium ion as the only positively charged ion. Okay, now how the hydronium ion is formed, that I have shown here in the board, that HCl aqueousness in water, it ionizes into H plus Cl minus, as H plus ion combines with another water molecule H2O and forms H3O plus. This hydronium ion is formed. So in the overall reaction we can see that HCl being an acid when dissolved in water is giving or yields H3O plus hydronium ion as the only positively charged ion. So from this chemical equation reaction we can say that HCl is an acid. Okay, it's an acid. HCl is an acid. Now next we come to the different types of acid. There are different types of acid. Okay. So first, based on the source, that means from where we are getting the acid, we have two types. One is organic acid and second one is inorganic acid. Okay. What are organic acids? Organic acids are those acids which are obtained from plants. Example: acetic acid, citric acid, oxalic acid. These are all examples of organic acids. Now, inorganic acids. What are inorganic acids? Inorganic acids are those acids which are obtained from minerals. So, inorganic acids are also called mineral acids. Okay. Example: HCl, hydrochloric acid, H2SO4, sulfuric acid, HNO3, nitric acid. These are all examples of inorganic acids. Now we come to the next classification of acids, that is based on the molecular composition. That means what are the molecules present or what are the elements present in one molecule of that acid. So based on the molecular composition, we are having two types. One is oxyacids and second one is hydracids. Okay. What are oxyacids? Now oxyacids are those acids which contain hydrogen, oxygen and another element. So oxyacids are those acids which contain hydrogen, oxygen and another element. Example of oxyacids are HNO3, nitric acid. So here we can see hydrogen is present, oxygen is present, along with that another element nitrogen is present. So HNO3 or nitric acid is an example of oxyacid. Now we move on to hydracid. What are hydracids? Hydracids are acids which contain hydrogen and other non-metallic element but not oxygen. That means in hydracids, oxygen are not present. Hydrogen is there. From name itself we can understand hydrogen is there. Along with hydrogen, other non-metallic elements are there. Example: HCl, HBr, HCl hydrochloric acid, HBr hydrobromic acid. So here we can see in HCl, hydrogen is there and chlorine is there. No oxygen is present. That's why HCl and same way in HBr also hydrogen and bromine is present. So both HCl and HBr, that is hydrobromic acid and hydrochloric acids, are examples of hydroacids. Okay. Now we move on to strength of an acid. Very important. What is strength of an acid, or what do we mean by strength of an acid? Strength of an acid means, or the strength of an acid depends on the concentration of hydronium ions present in an aqueous solution of an acid. So in an aqueous solution of an acid, how many amount of hydronium ions or hydrogen ions are present, that determines the strength of an acid. So strength of an acid is determined by the concentration, means amount of hydronium ions or H plus ion, it is hydrogen ions present in an aqueous solution of an acid, that determines the strength of an acid. Now based on the strength of an acid, we have strong acid and weak acid. Strong acid and weak acids. Okay. So what is strong acid? What do we mean by strong acid? Strong acid is an acid which in aqueous solution completely dissociates. Okay. Completely dissociates in aqueous solution, giving a high concentration of H plus ion or H3O plus ion. So strong acid is an acid which in aqueous solution dissociates completely, giving a high concentration of H plus ion or H3O plus ion in aqueous solution. Example of strong acid is HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, and HNO3, nitric acid. So HCl, H2SO4 and HNO3, all these three are strong acids. That means in aqueous solution they completely dissociate, giving a high concentration of H plus or H3O, that is hydronium ions, okay, in aqueous solution. Next is, what do we mean by weak acid? Now weak acid means the strength of that acid is weak. Now what do we mean by weak? That means this acid or acid which in aqueous solution partially dissociate. That means they are not completely dissociating. They are partially dissociating in aqueous solution, giving a low, that means less amount of H plus or H3O plus ions. That means weak acid in aqueous solution they partially dissociate, giving a low concentration of hydronium ions or H plus ions. Those acids are called as weak acid. Example, acetic acid, CH3COOH, citric acid, acetic acid, citric acid, these are all examples of weak acids. Okay, that means the strength of these acids are weak. And HCl, H2SO4 and HNO3 are example of strong acids. That means their strength is high. That's why they are strong acids. Now, the most important, basicity of acids. So what do we mean by basicity of acid? The basicity of acid means the number of hydrogen ions which can be produced per molecule of an acid in aqueous solution. That means in an aqueous solution, each molecule of an acid is producing how many hydrogen, that means H plus ions in aqueous solution, that determines the basicity of an acid. So if one molecule of an acid in aqueous solution gives 2 H plus ions, then the basicity of that acid will be 2, and we will call that acid to be dibasic acid. So what is the definition of the word basicity of an acid? Means the number of hydrogen ions which can be produced per molecule of an acid in aqueous solution, or it can also be defined in this way, that the number of hydroxyl ions with which a molecule of an acid combines is also called basicity of an acid. Now based on basicity, there are three types of acid: monobasic, diabasic and tribasic. So based on basicity of acid, we have monobasic, dibasic and tribasic. Example of monobasic acid is HCl, dibasic is H2SO4 and tribasic is H3PO4, that is phosphoric acid. Monobasic is hydrochloric acid and dibasic is sulfuric acid. Okay, so we have discussed about first taste of acid, definition of acid we have discussed. Now source, organic, inorganic, then we have discussed about oxyacid and hydroxide based on the molecular composition. Then we have discussed about the strength of an acid, what is strong acid, weak acid we have discussed, basicity of an acid, what do we mean by basicity, and based on that monobasic, diabasic and tribasic we have discussed. Okay, so this much for today's class. Okay, thank you.